The Federal Reserve's balance sheet will reach an all-time high at the exact same time the Bitcoin halving. We're going to talk about exactly what that means. And we could probably see it pump all the way to 7,800 and make a new local high, like seeing if we can like really pump it up to the 9,000 level.
Today, for the Bitcoin price with DavinciJ15, we will discuss the Bitcoin price in the immediate short term. As you know, the trend is your friend until the end. So the question now is this the end? And we will break through and find higher highs, or is this not the end and Bitcoin will find significant resistance and break down and find lower lows? Well, we will talk about all of that, and also, even more important, towards the end, the Federal Reserve's balance sheet is increasing with a crazy speed, so their balance sheet will reach an all-time high by May 2020. Looking at the Bitcoin halving, that coincides perfectly with the date of the Bitcoin halving, actually with the month. And also, it coincides perfectly with the current interest rates of all the different central banks in the world, America and everything. The direction is going down for every single central bank. So you can see quantitative easing and fiat currencies being pumped into the market, inflating prices, also like of Bitcoin. We will talk with DavinciJ15 what all of that means for the Bitcoin price in the short term and also towards the halving. So if you're already excited, make sure you take a seat, make sure you smash up the like button right now. And that being said, we want to come to the most important question once again. DavinciJ15, how are you doing today, my man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm liking the price action with Bitcoin. I'm sure like everybody else is. How about you?
Volatility is always nice, especially if it's going towards the upside, and especially if the price has bounced exactly where your support line was in the last video, and also exactly how we mentioned in yesterday's video, in that video here. You can check it out as well. So DaVinci, what are your thoughts on the Bitcoin price right now, and especially in the immediate short term before we go into the economics?
Yeah, well, let me share my screen. And yeah, just like you said, it bounced off of the first trend line down here. I thought that was amazing. I was hunting along there, like along the way. And I just, when it comes to day trading, right, you have to sit in front of a screen and just stare at it. Because if you don't, right, the trade's going to happen and you're going to miss it. And you know what? It's sad. It's upsetting. But you can't chase. Please, that's the number one thing you need to learn when you're trading. If you see your trade come in and you missed it, you just missed it, right?
And there's another train coming in 15 minutes, right?
Exactly. There's another bus in 15 minutes, so don't worry about it. So move on. So anyways, yeah. So let's move on to the next trade. This happened all in one day. Right, because we're on a daily time frame. I know. I wish I saw my trade. It was a nice trade. I can go down to I think it was on the 15-minute. There we go. All right. Hopefully everybody can see this. When the market does this forked candles, right, that means somebody's there saying, you know what, no more down. Somebody's rich is manipulating the price. They're saying, no, not gonna happen. Yes. You ain't going any lower. And the market sees that, and then it just jets because they don't want that guy to buy all the Bitcoin at a cheap price. They want to get in ahead of him and buy it all up. So that's why you see this huge rally pump away from this guy's buy zone. Now, the unfortunate thing is it has to be retested, right? Because of that, there's a clear indication of a whale down here. And we want to see if that whale is serious or not. That's what the market wants to know.
There's another question I have maybe, and probably also a lot of people out there have. As we know, Bitcoin went down into kind of these areas before 6,500. Is it not a possibility that this is already the retest of the previous low we have formed beforehand?
No, because if he wanted to keep this market from going down, right, he would have held the line either at the 78.6 or 88.6. He would have held the line there. He probably did try to hold the line there, failed, right? And then now he's holding the line here, probably to sell at a higher level so that he can get out and try to defend Bitcoin at a lower level. That's the problem, right? So again, like we said, the trend is your friend, right? And we asked the question, is this the end? I'm telling you, it's not the end here. We are going to see this level probably taken out probably. Now, there's no guarantees in this stuff, right? But looking at the way this happened, this occurred, this will be tested again. Now, if he wants to seriously keep this market up, he has to defend that bottom there. He's got to defend it somewhere in the 61.8, and somebody's got to step in with him, right? He's got to step in hard right here. If he wants to defend this level, this is where his defense is. If it breaks out, it's definitely going back down, and we're going to see lower lows, because he's going to probably exit his trade and try to buy back later.
Between the 61.8 and the 78.6, that's the levels, 6,816, and what is the other one, 6,644. That's the levels we actually have to hold in order to know that we are not going down and testing this previous low again, right?
Exactly. So we have to hold the 6,800. Would be nice at between 6,800 and 6,600.
Let's take it like that. Let's say the Bitcoin price retraces back down and we actually find support in these areas and bounce once again heavily from the 6,800 levels, 6,644 levels. In that case, what would be your outlook in the short term?
So if we were looking at this to occur, right, what we would look for, because this is, again, what we said, trend your friend to the end, you'd want to sell any rallies here. And the best thing to do is look for an AB equals CD and take that trade. You see something different happening, right? And in order for us to see something different, even in this local market, we have to break this level here. In order to see something different happen, we have to break the 7870 level. Unfortunately, that's not too far away from here, but still, unless we break that, that's not something that's the only way we know that, hey, the trend might be the ending if we break above that. So if we break above that and we don't come down and visit it, yeah, we could say, hey, you know what? This thing could be turning into a bull market very soon.
All right, so that's exactly the keyword I wanted to hear, but still, guys, watching that, we cannot be 100% bullish yet, because this trend reversal, there was not a huge volume included. We would have liked to see a higher volume with that upspike, and also we did not take out the previous high on the weekly and as well on the daily candles, which was 7,800. Only when we take out that level and only when we actually bounce or find support in the 61.8 level, as you can see it right there, only in that case we can go bullish and we can say, okay, this might be something like a confirmed trend reversal.
Yeah, I'd like to add that, hey, you know what? I would stick with this short trade. This is a good area to get into a short trade. It's probably not a guarantee that it's going to work, but here, this would be your stop loss up here. So I mean, the risk to reward is huge, right? I mean, take a look. Right. If you were to, I know you're not supposed to buy the markets, but at this level, right, there's so little risk here. What is that? 1%, right? I mean, come on, really? Just let it go. Like for $50, if you lose $50 here, right, you have a chance of winning 5 times 5, 25, it's like $250, more than that, almost $300.
Yes. And I mean, there's your trading setup for everyone watching right now. We will share the trading setup in the Telegram group. Always remember, if there is a 1% downside, and if you go 10x, of course, that's 10%. If you go in 20x, that's 20%. But if you are not aware of that, maybe leverage trading isn't for you anyways. If you are curious where to find this trading setup, it is in our free Telegram group. And you find it if you go into the pinned comment, you click on show more, and then join our secret Telegram group with DaVinci and the MMCrypto team. You click on that group and then you are redirected to our Telegram group immediately. And as I already said, it's for free. It will be always for free. We are like 12,000 people already. So DaVinci, thanks for your outlook in the short term. Thanks for your trading setup.
One last thing. Notice how an AB equals CD pattern is actually a trend reversal pattern. And where does it end? Right at the 78.6. So that's where you want to see the person who made this pump hold that line. If you can hold that line, he's got two what's called trade locations to hold the line and buy this Bitcoin up, and we could see it pump. Maybe you probably see it pump all the way to 7,800 and make a new local high, and then we'll move into like seeing if we can like really pump it up to the 9,000 level as the next resistance area. So that would be great, wouldn't it?
That would be amazing. For everyone watching right now, let us know, what do you think? Was that a trend reversal? Will we see the 7,800 in new local high? Let us know in the poll, which is popping up on top of the screen right now. Click it and let us know if you think that was a trend reversal. Yes or no? And now, DaVinci, as you said it, we want to know your thoughts on this specific topic. You can not only see, dear viewers, that the Federal Reserve once again started the quantitative easing, even though Jerome Powell is saying it's not QE, and you can see the immense speed the Federal Reserve balance sheet is actually increasing, which coincides obviously always with money printing beforehand. And you can see that this immense speed will be eventually form a new all-time high in the Federal Reserve balance sheet, so also in the monetary base in the United States of America, by May 2020. And dear viewers, you all know what is going to happen for a fact in May 2020, and that's the Bitcoin halvening. The future inflation of Bitcoin is getting cut in half, and Bitcoin is getting more scarce, where the monetary base in the United States and also all the other countries in the world is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So that being said, DaVinci, what are your thoughts about that, about the Federal Reserve balance sheet and also the interest rates of the different central banks? Maybe we can go back into the phase mode.
Yeah, okay. Well, the interesting thing about that, I want you guys to understand a few things about the balance sheet of the Fed. So they are printing money. And the thing with inflation, or even deflation for that matter, right, is that it's not instantly apparent in the economy. So when the Fed prints money, how long before prices get effective? Well, a lot of factors go into play to determine when that affects price. But generally, on average, it takes about 18 months from the printing of money to seeing the effect on prices. The reason for that is because not everybody spends the money at the exact same time. And then there's also the fact of money velocity, how fast the money turns over when you spend it. So a velocity is basically, hey, do I take this $20 and I go to the gas station and I buy some gas, and then they take that $20 and they pay the employee, and he takes that $20 and he buys some food at the groceries. That's a velocity of 3, for example, because the money turned over 3 times. And so if the velocity is high enough, that would also create inflation as well. If it's too high, it creates inflation as well, because inflation in the terms of what the Federal Reserve calls. The real definition of inflation is the increase in the money supply, but they call it increasing in prices. That's not true. It's really increasing money supply, because that's the end result of increasing the money supply. Now, with that said, right, notice something as well. When Bitcoin gets cut in half, what is that called? Deflationary, according to the Federal Reserve. Right? And well, actually, no, that's cutting in the money supply. So that's actually real deflation, right? And what happens in 18 months? Can anybody guess? Every time the Bitcoin halved, what has happened in 18 months?
All-time high.
Exactly, right? Prices of everything that you can buy in Bitcoin go down. Right?
Because
exactly.
Bitcoin has reached an all-time high approximately like 18 months after the halving.
Exactly. So you can see that works in reverse as well. And so that's why it makes so much sense to buy some Bitcoin.
Exactly. And I mean, DaVinci, it was maybe one of the best moments in YouTube history right here, because you explained it. I mean, I studied economics and I'm very interested, but the vast majority of people, they are actually not so much into it. So you explained it very, very easy to understand. And now everyone, dear viewers, understand that That's why we are only trading with a certain amount of our portfolio, and the biggest position, the vast majority of our Bitcoin, especially in bearish times, it's a holding position, because this mechanics actually work in our favor. The central bank, all these central banks, we shouldn't hate them. We shouldn't love them if we should love them if we are Bitcoin holders, because what they are doing is actually inevitably driving the price of Bitcoin higher and higher, with Bitcoin being deflationary and fiat currency being inflationary. So thank you so much for that, DaVinci. And to phrase it in some finalizing words, would that lead to your mid and long-term prediction of Bitcoin being bullish, especially looking towards the halving and also towards the time after the halving?
Well, again, it's to sell the news event that have Bitcoin happening. So effectively, if we are moving up into that event, expect a price dump at the end, near close to the point of that of the happening. So don't expect much in the short term, right, when the happening occurs. So that's the same rule to apply when you're talking about the Federal Reserve printing money and making it look like, hey, this is going to be a lot of inflation here. Actually, the opposite will occur in the initial periods. Is that, hey, you know what, prices, the dollar value will go up, probably against other currencies more so than anything else. I think prices will still slowly move down. With that said, let's go on to what the central banks are doing. Oh my God, have you seen that? Right?
Yeah, we covered it also in our yesterday's video. For everyone who hasn't seen it, the video is popping up on top of the screen right now. But that's exactly what we are going to talk about right now in a little bit more detail. And yeah, DaVinci, thanks for pulling it up. And basically, guys, you can see it. It's 18 central banks, and the vast majority of them, the interest rates are going into the same direction. So, DaVinci, what do you think about it?
I think that if you were to take this screenshot and go back 20 years, people go, "What are you, nuts? That's not going to happen." And if we go back even further to 1917, they'd be like,
before the Bretton Woods, yeah, before the gold standard being broken away. I mean, the people would just laugh into your face if you would tell them we are at 0%, or like the bonds are inverted, the bond yields are inverted, or the interest rates of the central banks are at 0%. I mean, it's just, it makes no sense. It also takes all away the power of the central banks, and it makes like lending completely limitless, right?
No, what makes no sense is negative interest rates.
Yeah, that's like Japan,
yeah,
Switzerland,
yes,
on the downside.
So can you imagine going to somebody, showing somebody this and saying, yeah, if I go to, so are you saying you go to the bank to borrow some money and they'll pay you to borrow
less? Give me 1,000, I promise you I give you back 950, right? I mean, you could just rather hoard the money below your pillow. I mean, the risk-return ratio is much better hoarding your money below the pillow rather than lending it out and getting less in return.
Exactly. So that's what really makes no sense at all, right? And so why is it like this, right? A lot of people ask the question, since the world is flooded with, I think it was like $18 trillion worth of negative interest yielding debt. How is this possible, right? It doesn't make any sense at all. Who is lending money with a guaranteed loss? Who's doing that, right? And the answer is quite interesting. And the reasons why is quite interesting. It's because, one, there's not many places you can go, right? And when you want to invest, what happens when you have a lot of money in, for example, countries where there's a large amount of inflation, they tend to move their large cash holdings into countries that are more stable. And they're willing to accept the losses on that cash holdings in that country, for example, in Germany or Switzerland or wherever. They're willing to accept that negative rate, because when they convert it back to their local currency, they get even more. And that's why they do it. So, and because most of their debts are denominated in their local currency, right? They automatically gain an increase. But this is all paper. right? And when you think about this, right, you think, well, okay, that seems a little bit logical, but really, when you if you really think through and you point something out to them, you'll realize that no, that doesn't make any sense at all, because here's what's happening: you've actually lost purchasing power, because hey, although you've purchased something with debt in your local currency, and then that local currency has gone down in value, right? You still lost purchasing power when you try to convert that back over, because now you've lost money in the euro, and you've lost purchasing power in your local currency, and so you have less. Yes, that's true. You have the asset that you purchased with debt, and now that asset, the debt, is lost a lot of value, right? For example, but this game cannot go on forever. Eventually, it's going to collapse in on itself, right? And you're going to lose. And so once that happens, right, everyone is going to rush to hard assets, right, wherever they can. And so it will be a massive thing to see once people start exiting
Yes.
all their cash holdings rapidly.
Wow. And now imagine some people in some lesser developed countries also going to the bank and all trying to withdraw only a $500. I mean, it will be simply impossible. So, guys, everyone who is watching that right now, do not forget the primary purpose of us being here. Okay, and that's Bitcoin. That's having Bitcoin as some kind of security for the future whenever this whole system collapses in and of itself. So, man, DaVinci, thank you so much for dropping all this crazy knowledge bumps onto our head. It was a very, very nice lesson today. Everyone who is actually appreciating that, make sure you smash up the like button. We are trying to get 1,000 likes on today's video. We are highly appreciating everyone watching until the end. And yeah, actually appreciating our content. We really appreciate you. Everyone also go into the comment section down below and let us know, what do you think about the Bitcoin halving, about the Federal Reserve actually expanding the balance sheet, about the central banks all over the world cutting the interest rates. Let us know. We are trying to answer each and every comment within the first 24 hours. So, DaVinci, thank you so much for that. And also everyone who wants to support us, to support DaVinci, the easiest thing is to go over to his channel, subscribe to his channel, or also download Pandora's wallet. You find the link also here in our pinned comment. It is for free for 30 days, so you can check it out. There is basically no downside here by clicking that link and downloading the wallet. Also, if you want to support us, we have a Bybit link here, and Bybit has not been hacked. They have no system overlords. They have not been hacked so far, I must say. Of course, there is always the risk, but Bybit is, in our opinion, right now the best leverage exchange out there. It is easy to use, nevertheless, only for experienced traders. By clicking that link, actually, within 24 seconds, you can get an account, and also with the deposit, you can get up to $90 completely for free here with our link in the pinned comment. That being said, DaVinci, let's wrap up today's episode. Do you have anything, like any updates or so before we wrap it up?
Yeah, please check out my latest video if you purchased the BuyDAO tokens. I have some interesting topics that I need to discuss about that. And you know what? I want to be cutting back on my videos, even with MMCrypto team, because like I want to work on Pandora's wallet, especially the trading part into the wallet, directly into the wallet, because I think there's a lot of excitement about that. A lot of people would love to have that feature. And then as we were designing it, we've come up with a way to decentralize this as well. So, but we will do it in phases, of course, not in this first phase. But imagine being able to have a localized Bitcoin that's decentralized, so there'll never ever be KYC, so that you could actually trade your crypto, right, through Pandora's wallet, and not have to worry about KYC. Anybody could trade. You could trade with people that you don't know, because you know what? They will not be able to rob you, because we'll be using atomic swaps. This will be a game-changing idea, and I'm glad that you were excited about it, and everybody else has responded very positively to this idea. So I'm working diligently on this as well.
So guys, make sure you secure your spot for Pandora's Wallet in the pinned comment down below. And also, let us know your thoughts about DaVinci cutting back his video in the comment section down below. Are you happy about that, or are you not happy about that? Maybe we can convince him to at least come back to us every now and then and drop some knowledge bombs. That being said, thank you so much for watching, everyone. And DaVinci, any last words to say before we wrap it up for today?
Yeah, remember, play from a position of strength and don't get wrecked.
Do not get wrecked, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see each other very soon at the next one of MMCrypto, most probably tomorrow already on our MMCrypto channel. So thank you so much for watching. And as always, guys, as always, bye-bye.